Welcome to the Don Pod, the supporters podcast. Here's your hosts, Sam and Nate.
3, 2, 1, yeah!
Hello everyone, happy Friday. Welcome to the Don Pod preview of what is probably our biggest test of 2024 to this point. Essendon Carlton, King's Birthday Eve, 90,000 plus expected at the MCG. Essendon second on the ladder, played 12, won 8, lost 3, drawn 1. Carlton fifth on the ladder, played 12, won 8, lost 4. Thank you for joining us. I am joined by Nathan. Hello to you, sir.
Hello, Sam. Welcome to everyone. And looking forward to the game on Sunday.
Friday afternoon, we're full of hope.
Do you think there will be 90,000?
Want
to just go back to that.
Sold
It's
out.
a home game for us, isn't it?
Sold out, so it
Yep.
does rely on our members turning up. I'll be there.
Yep.
Your seat will be taken.
Yeah, my seat's stolen.
So
That's
gifted
fine.
very graciously.
Yeah, you're right. Gifted.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Fair enough.
We're past that. We had a bit of a tip last year.
Oh, we did not. Move on.
Okay.
People don't need to know about what we...
No, it was on the pod. I was just,
Mhm.
we got over it.
Mhm.
Look, it is a big game, and we feel flat after our last 3 weeks. We've lost Mason Redmond this week to a hamstring. Carlton aren't in a particularly great position with injuries.
No, we need all the help we can get. And the exciting thing, the twins, Harry and Ben, get to play each other for the
At this
first
point
time.
in time, we get to hopefully
we see
confirm
that they're real.
that they are not, in fact, the same person.
Yeah.
I hope that when we talked about this, they
Now-
should play on each other because there's no other matchup really that works.
Would I be right in saying that if we win this, that is Ben's
Correct.
big number 9 win?
He will surpass his number of wins at North
Yeah,
Melbourne
yep.
Football Club,
Yep.
yes.
Well, that would be exciting to do that against your brother, wouldn't it? In the
It's
first time
probably
in the final,
second
wouldn't it?
best to doing it against North Melbourne. Yes.
Oh, yeah,
You're
that would
quite
be.
right.
Yep. Yep. Good point.
Last time we met, Essendon 13-8-86 defeated Carlton 6-16-52 in what should have been, by all accounts, the end of Carlton's season. However, they went on a miraculous run from there. And all the way
Thanks
to
to
a
us.
prelim, we fixed them.
Yeah, thanks to us. We got him down so low.
Admittedly, playing some very good football. I
Yep.
did have a bit of respect for them and what they did last year.
Yeah.
Our last 10 meetings, we've won 4 of 10. So actually a little bit more even than I would have suspected. That went back to 2016. So
Yeah. Well, we only normally play once a year, don't we?
once and every so
Yeah.
often we play them twice. It's like a
okay.
rotating thing. Average winning margin in that time for us, 27. Average losing margin, 14. So it suggests we play pretty close games.
Yeah. Well, that is surprising.
Certainly not blowouts. And one of those games in 2016, we did beat them at the end of the year. So
Well, that's unusual, but I do feel like with
that
this
was
Mason Redmond injury and a few other injuries, I feel like it's history is repeating itself. So I'm very anxious. Oh, sorry, not very nervous about this game and how we perform and how we play. It's again, I'll go back to that, and I say it too often. I just want us to play well, and I'll
Well,
take that. Hmm.
what's interesting with the injury front is that it's across the league. There are a lot of teams
Definitely,
with
yeah.
a lot of injuries, and Carlton are sort of coming back from it now. I think they were a bit more affected in the last sort of 6 weeks. Richmond are screwed over. Collingwood have a huge amount, and we're now getting
But
to
then
that
it's-
point.
But then there's some of the teams like St Kilda who I think have got 3 on their injury list, and they've
Well,
actually
still
been playing.
14th on the ladder,
Yeah,
or
and,
whatever they are.
actually, and been playing some of their pretty good players in the VFL. Like
It's a nice
Crouch.
option to have.
Crouch has been playing a few weeks in the VFL. Like I don't follow them religiously, but you would have thought 1 week would do him, and he's back in the senior side. Or anyway, so that's been interesting.
Yes, we have hit record as of 5 o'clock, so the teams have just dropped. We haven't had a lot of time to digest
Bam.
this. Yeah, they have. For us, in comes Goldstein and Setterfield. Out goes Redmond with the aforementioned hamstring and Nick Bryan. Not entirely surprising. It's a ruckman and a midfielder for a ruckman and a defender, so there's a bit of a conversation there, but otherwise, pretty much what we expected to see.
Yep.
For the Blues, in comes Durden. I want to say Corey Durden, but I don't actually know if that's right or not. And
It is Corey.
I won't say hilariously, but ironically,
Ironically, definitely.
would be Fantasia goes out injured.
Mm.
Just par for
That's all we
course
knew him
for
as.
Orazio.
Talented football player who was very injured.
I like Raz.
Oh, love him.
So,
He's injured.
given that we've got a midfielder in and a defender going out, that suggests to me that Jake Kelly might be playing as a defender this week.
Or even Nick Hine. I mean, I don't know.
Hind.
I agree with what you're saying that we assume we're making the assumption that because of Kelly and Hine being in the team and knowing that they've played a lot of football as defenders, that the replacement for Redmond's already in the team. Redford, that's a new one. Redmond's already in the team, and that they've just they'll shift him back. Setterfield goes to the midfield, which might push someone like a Perkins or a Caldwell, hope not, out to that half forward role. Probably more Perkins, you would think.
Perkins
but
is the option.
Yeah.
It's if you were going to say not Brian, if you were going to say Hind or Kel, I think for the role Hind's been playing for the last 2 weeks, you leave him alone.
Yep, and Kelly goes to the back.
Kel goes.
Kelly's a good option for guys like Durden who's coming in, or Owies is probably the big one. I think is that someone like Owies can kick a few on us. So I really think that Kelly could be a good matchup there.
It just makes perfect sense, doesn't it? You've got a Nick Hind who's playing in a role that suits him and it works. It's working at the moment. You've got Jake Kelly who's playing out of position. It's not really working well, and who plays a lot better as a defender. So that's what I hope to see.
And I think that you'll get Harry and Ben on each other because of just their size and I mean, I'm sure there might be moments when Harry gets up the ground a lot further and maybe someone else picks him up. I don't know, because he does wander up to, that.
I don't have a lot of tall options.
Yeah. But anyway, that'll be interesting. Whereas I do think Laverde will probably pick up Curnow because, well, they're about the same size. Like there's only a centimetre.
Height's the same,
Yeah. Muscle definition, I don't know. But they're the same height. So he should be.
Sorry, I was going to say, of the two, Curnow is the one that sparks fear
you worry
into us more than Harry. Harry's certainly capable. Should I call him Ben just to confuse things? Because I always call Ben Harry. So should I
just call them both Ben?
Harry Ben.
Carlton Ben and Essendon Ben.
Yes. I'll call them both Harry because I can't get it fucking right.
Yeah, that's true.
Harry hasn't been as damaging this year in front of goal. Curnow is the one that's leading the Coleman, or might be second now. I can't quite remember.
And that's because I think Harry's been damaging up the ground. Like he's taking a lot of marks and goes up on the wings, and even at
And I don't know if we want to see Ben Mackay up the ground. I reckon if we could almost sacrifice Laverde to go follow him up the ground, let him get his possession on the wing.
Yep.
And leave our best defender. Back on Curnow.
I think that'll be an interesting. That's all I'm saying. I think that'll be interesting how we match up, because I've watched a few Carlton games and I have seen him getting up the ground a lot. So the other concern for me, obviously, is Tom De Koning versus Goldstein. Tom De Koning, very capable, jumpy.
I know that's for them.
Not in net, but De Koning is a stupid definition, but a real jumpy ruckman, like a really springy.
He's springy, yeah.
Yeah, a real springy, athletic ruckman. So Goldstein would want to turn on all his nous and his ability to get free kicks, because he's going to need it, because I reckon Koning's just going to line him up and jump.
This is... I have arguments in my head over what I would prefer, right? Mm-hmm. So you have...
a couple of things going on in there.
Yeah, there's not much else. Mm. Brian, who I would say is a springy, jumpy, young, athletic ruckman.
Yep.
Goldstein's the experienced head. I think there's positives for both of them, or arguments for both of them being the better matchup for De Koning. But getting around the ground, Goldstein's really got to make sure the ruck work, specifically his hit-outs and his actual ruck work, wins that contest, because De Koning will get him around the ground, and I'm kind of okay with that. But if you can dominate in the bit that matters as a ruckman, bless you. I think, and I mean, we'll dive into some numbers, but we're going to have to be on our game with the clearances too.
And it's part of the reason why I thought we might have played two ruckmen, being Brian and Goldstein, this week, because I thought that maybe having the two ruckmen, one could go back and help those defenders as, an extra tall back there. But, I'm not the decision maker, obviously. Peter Wright's been rucking pretty well as that backup ruckman for us the last 2 weeks. We've mentioned that. So Their backup ruckman is usually
I can't help you in this department. So
I don't know who their backup ruckman normally floats in.
it will
I'm looking
be,
at their team now, and I'm not
it'll
even
be Harry
sure.
in the forward line, I'm sure.
Mm,
I don't know who backs up. Silvani's out for the year.
yeah,
Pitnet's not there.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm not
Obviously, I
sure.
don't watch enough to know who comes in and does that.
It's always the little shit that gets you in these scenarios.
Anyway,
Yeah. You're on your own there.
I'm also very worried about their midfield. Obviously, I think that my concern is that Sam Walsh and Cripps
Well, if I can, that's a great little segue there from you.
go.
Centre clearances, Carlton our average, 13.8 per game,
What's
which puts them number one in the competition.
Oh no!
We average 12.5, which puts us number 6. And I reckon if you looked at that 4 weeks ago, we were a lot
Would have been,
better
yeah.
in that department. Stoppage
And that's
clearances.
where we missed guys like Parrish and that. Yeah,
and Setterfield.
Yeah, Setterfield. That's true. Setterfield should help with that. I really think that.
That's the big butt in there.
And
big body.
I also don't mind him playing his old team. That's another.
Yeah, you like that. You're a
I
fan.
like that. I reckon that's when guys either play their best or their worst.
Or their worst, yeah. Stoppage clearances, Carlton average 25.2, rank 8. We average 23.8, rank 15. So we've really dropped off there. I feel like we were breaking even or winning that stat a lot early in the year.
Yep.
So total clearances, they're ranked 5th, we're ranked 10th. So, but it's going to be the centre. We've seen it time again. We either dominate or get dominated. And with a midfield of Cripps, Walsh, they don't have Chera, which helps a little bit. But Cripps and Walsh is all you need.
That's right. But they got Hewitt and Kennedy they can roll through there too, who I respect that. Matt Kennedy, I think he's a pretty handy player that sort of seems to
They've got a lot of those players that are just handy. And they're missing one in Cottrell. Cottrell's a bloody good footballer, in my humble opinion. Gets up and down the ground, kicks goals, is a very solid contributor to that team. And hard matchup as well. What I should have mentioned earlier with Jake Kelly was Carlton more or less won the game last week on the back of putting Zach Williams in the forward line. So that could also be another potential.
A good matchup for him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I wasn't suggesting Kelly as a forward. God, no.
That's what I thought you were going with.
No.
I was confused. I do prefer Kelly as that defender. I think when he's given a role like that, I think he's just a bit more focused, a bit more useful for us in that, I'm old-fashioned in this when it comes to footy. I still like... I'm old-fashioned in a lot of things. I still like... a defender to defend. Like I know that's a bit against
I'm with you.
what defenders are meant to do today. Like it seems to be all about these attacking defenders, but
have one of them.
But I still like a guy to stop them scoring.
When we had McKenna and Sard, I was like, our best asset here for our defenders is that they're attacking. I'm not sure I like that. You can get away with one. Sure, Redmond should have that license. I'm totally okay with that.
Oh, Nick Martin has it now.
Or Mardo.
Yeah.
But Mardo.
And I don't mind Nick Martin having it because he's got the skills to use it. Yeah. But I still think you have to build your defense around 2 or 3 guys that like defenders like Mackay that has to keep Ben Carlton Ben to 1 or 2. Like if Curnow and Carlton Ben keep to like four goals out of the 2 of them, I think that's a massive win because we're trying to keep them to 75 points, aren't we? Really? Like
that's a good point too because we've been, even though we lost last week, still sub 100 points for Gold Coast.
That's right.
Still,
we just couldn't score.
Keeping that sort of scoring against it. 90 is probably a little bit higher than what you'd want to be averaging, but it's still not a massive blowout like what we saw against Sydney or Port early in the year.
That's right. And we had more inside 50s and more shots on goals last week. We just were horrible.
Are you psychic today?
Yes.
You've just given me another fantastic little segue. So
love to do it. Maybe this is what happens if I don't read the sheet.
You're not reading it and you're still, wow, that's even more amazing.
I'm just looking at the teams.
Did a bit of a deep dive on some stats today during my lunch break. And we've lamented the fact that we seem to get more inside 50s but can't score than our opposition, or more inside 50s than our opposition every game.
Yep.
So I did a little bit of a comparison. Now, this is disposals inside 50, so it might not be actual inside 50s, but it's comparable.
That's interesting.
We average 56.3.
Disposals inside 50.
Disposals going inside 50. A
Yep.
disposal going inside our forward 50, which puts us rank 4.
Okay.
Carlton average 52.5, which puts them rank 8. However, goals per inside 50. We score 21.8% of the time we go inside 50, rank
That's
14.
horrible. That sounds horrible. Like, I
Rank-
know.
Rank
Yeah.
14. That's
Well,
goals per
yeah.
inside 50, not scores, which
Yep,
I now
okay.
realise is probably not the best stat to look at.
Yeah,
anyway.
but that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does.
Yep.
Carlton score 26.3% of the times they go inside 50, which is rank 2.
Yeah, that's
So
really
they're
interesting.
getting more
Yeah,
value.
They're more efficient. Yeah,
I
when
mean,
they go
hello,
in. Yep.
Kerno and Mackay,
Exactly.
of course. We have Langford, Wright, and the other guy, Stringer. So,
Yep. The other
what his
guy.
name? I nearly called him Murray, for God's sake.
Murray. He's been out of form.
So, the talent is there. It's just, I think I'm a bit of a pain point with Peter Wright at the moment that he's not taking marks.
Well, Stringer hasn't been at the best last 3 weeks.
Stringer was
Like
pretty average
the
last
midfield's
week.
not working for him anymore. Maybe
He was good against Richmond.
Yeah, but that was a few weeks ago. But it's not. I don't know if that midfield role is working as well for him in the last few weeks. So maybe it's time to stick him in the forward and say kick 5.
Perma forward. Yeah, I'm totally for that. So, I mean,
Put
there's
the pressure on the Merritts and the should be Caldwell's and maybe probably not Les Perkins, but maybe Setterfields and those guys. I mean, Setterfield should be, you would think, the replacement for Stringer.
Yes, you're right in that midfield.
He's the big. Sure. He's not going to go forward. He's going to stay in that midfield role and bludgeon them to death. With his bigness. So that hopefully means that Stringer becomes more of that forward, which he's a damaging forward. Like I don't know.
He is. He's talented, and
yeah,
we'll sit here and shit ourselves over Mackay and Kerno, but we touched on it a few weeks ago. At that time, it might have changed now. There was two pairs of forwards that had kicked 50 goals or more this year.
It was us. Yeah,
it was Langford and Stringer and Kerno and Mackay. So
yep,
there's comparabilities there. Where I think we might struggle is the midfield, because that's been down the last couple of weeks. Hopefully the dimension shift with Setterfield in there might help that.
Yep.
I'm not going to say it'll fix that. I think we need Parrish.
No, I think it will help. I agree. I think that gives a bit of cover for Stars and a few other those, Perkins, those not so big guys.
So the final sort of thing I did the dive on, I finally found a stat for score sources.
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
What was it?
Talked about Carlton being a better clearance side. Ranked 2 for centre clearances, in fact. They are also ranked 2 in the competition from clearances, from stoppages. So that'll be combined.
Let's see. So they use it well when they come out of the mid.
And then they're ranked 5 from turnovers.
Ooh. So they're the 5th worst.
No.
Or no, they score.
They score. Sorry. They're scoring from turnovers.
That's bad, because that's one of our weaknesses.
So, I don't know about scores against would be interesting there. We score similar from turnover, so we're ranked 6 for scores from turnovers.
Yep.
But we're 11th for stoppages, and we're 9th for defensive half. Carlton are 8th. So it's going to be whether or not we can get back to hitting the scoreboard from stoppages, whether that be centre or otherwise. And rather than putting the onus on us to score from turnover, I would be saying we just need to turn the ball over less, which is a dumb thing to say, but given that they're so proficient scoring from that source, let's not give it to them to do that.
Yeah.
And if
we need to deal with the pressure and be better at that pressure and not cock the ball up all the time. Yeah, I agree.
We can't have that setup we had last week. I don't know what went wrong where Gold Coast just had 3 or 4 players free at every single stoppage. And I got news for you.
Hit the ground and
Carlton are better than Gold Coast.
Yeah, definitely.
And
Carlton, I think, are one of the, I hate saying this, but one of the premiership contenders.
They're
seriously.
second. And no, they're third. Daylight is second right now. Maybe unless Richmond can stage
Collingwood, I'll give them another week.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because they had their loss to the Dogs, which I was surprised by. But if they don't,
so many players out.
I've got
so
if they
many
don't.
Players out.
I mean, Melbourne are going to be an interesting. Melbourne got flogged last week.
Yes.
They will be, on the theory there is that they will be out to prove something.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they'll be as red hot as they can be.
So
Collingwood are going to be in an interesting position there. Yep.
We've talked about the obvious matchups in our backline because, as I might have said once or twice, Kerno, Mackay, scary. What about the other end of the ground? So they have very good defender in Jacob Wiedering,
Very good.
who you
Very
will
good
assume
defender.
will play on Peter Wright.
Yep.
Mitch McGovern, would you say he's their number 2?
Yep. He'll probably go to either Jones or
Probably going to have to
Langford.
go to Langford, I would say. No, Harry's too tall.
Well, Nick Newman, I think, is a great matchup for Stringer. So Sard
doesn't defend, so he doesn't need a matchup.
But so Sard and Guelphy are the ones I would think would be an inch because Guelphy might play,
Can you get Guelphy playing a negative role on Sard?
Well, that's what I would have thought they would have been thinking, like, because Guelphy's been playing that because that's where they're getting a bit of their run from in Sard and a bit of Newman too. He does a bit of that as well.
I have it in my head that Nick Newman's a bit smaller, but you know what I'm like with player heights. It's like you and names.
I don't think he's
187.
Yeah, well, that's 6 foot something, isn't it?
187. Stringer's 190. Yeah, 5 centimeters. Yeah, fair enough. I was surprised that Marchbank was named as one of their ins, and he's the other sort of tallish defender, isn't he?
Yeah, he is true. Yep, he's a tall.
And
but
I was
he's
a
on the
little bit
emergency.
surprised he didn't come in. Yeah, that's what I was saying. So
we
are quite tall, which is why I would suggest we're not playing 2 ruckmen because we would just be astronomically.
Well, when you say we're quite tall, like, so it's Peter Wright. Langford, I don't think is tall.
But it's Langford, it's Wright and Jones. So the complicated thing, if I was in opposition, would be: do you put the defender on the height of Jones, or do you put it on the skill of Langford and risk the height of Jones? Forget Stringer.
I think you risk Jones because he's the one that you would think he's the no offense, but he's the worst out of them.
Yeah, that's okay to say that.
Yeah. So he's the guy you think, well, we can't afford Langford to get off the chain. We can't afford Stringer to get off the chain because if they do, they can kick quite a few goals. Whereas Jones has ever kicked, 2 or 3 in a game, you could.
That's reasonable.
You can go your worst player to him, who might be like a Brody Kemp. No offense to Brody Kemp here, by the way, but Kemp might go over to him and say, "Well, I'll deal with I'm shorter, but I can, do other things. I guess run and punch."
I think the biggest thing is there. I look through their 23. And I go, I don't really know where the weak points are at this point in time. I don't know what we can exploit because it's all well and good to say we've got to rock up and win the clearances, right? You can say that about every single game we've ever played.
We've got to play that every Yep.
I don't know who Jordan Boyd is. I'll be up front. He might be a kid, might be a sub. I don't know. Lockie Fogarty plays a role. Durden plays a role. Jack Carroll, not sure. George Hewitt, damaging, plays a role. Like that's their bench. As you said, Kennedy.
Well, George Hewitt's a pretty good player.
Yeah, Kennedy. Great player rolling through the midfield.
Yep.
Their whole back line, pretty solid. Their midfield, very, very solid. Their forward, very, very solid. Like,
I agree with you.
I don't know what
this is why this is why they're number 2 or 3, 4th team in the competition at the moment because there's not a great weaknesses. They're not overly injured. Everyone's playing all right. They've even had the luxury at the moment that they've rolled Zach Williams to the forward line, and I'm sure he's a lot happier up there. It's probably more of an interesting role for him than playing that defensive. So, well, we really have to get back to that football we were playing against GWS in the weeks around that period where clearance was the thing. It was that, and it wasn't just clearance, but it was the way we attacked the ball, the way all the and attack players. The tackling was there. There was a real enthusiasm about the way we played. And look, I'm going to throw out your theory at the moment, and I know this is unusual. It's maybe, I know. Maybe it's the opposition.
Play to the level. Yeah, I don't like it. I don't think it's a good
I don't
thing.
like it at all. I don't think it's stupid. But
it comes in handy when you're playing better opposition than you.
Yeah.
And
the occasion too.
We still fully recognise that second on the ladder is probably not where we should be.
No, 100%.
And yes, me saying that is a 100% a backup because I know when we fall.
But we've won all the games we've deserved to win. Like we're second because we won the games. I mean, I don't feel like we've cheated any games to get to here. It's just that I think at the moment
we've had to beat 1 or 2 good teams. We had to beat GWS. We had to beat the Bulldogs. Saints, I'll write that one off now. At the time, I thought they were okay. But
even Richmond a few weeks ago was a pretty good win.
Well, I mean, they've
just beaten Adelaide over in Adelaide. And they were very competitive the week before that too. So, that's not the thing. It's just, I think the wins and losses. I think that really is more about the other teams. Like, as we've talked about, it's Sydney, and then it's a bit of daylight at the moment.
Absolute daylight, yeah.
And that will change. I'm sure that'll change by around 23-24. There'll be other teams playing really good football. Sydney could be playing horrible football for all we know, but Right now, they are clearly the best team playing.
And it's not to be disrespectful to Carlton.
Hmm.
It's just to say Carlton are next, I would say.
Carlton lost to Sydney a few weeks ago pretty easily.
Pretty comfortably.
Yeah,
Carlton
like
are next.
30 or 40 points or so.
There's just a long way between them.
Yeah.
And I will say, if we beat them, I will probably for the first time be okay with second position on the ladder. I think there's a lot of teams with a lot of injuries, and we probably take advantage of that a little bit. But
if we beat them, we deserve to be second.
Yeah. And that's the first time I'll really feel like that.
That is, there's no other way to look at that.
GWS was close, but this would be...
Yeah. This will be
really
a big one.
Cementing. And it will cement us in top 4 because Carlton are less than a game away, I think. So they will leapfrog us, or are they one more off?
I think they're half a game.
Yes, half a game. So, it could be us out of the 4. Heck, we lose 2 games, we could be out of the 8. That's how tight it is.
Yeah. But let's just get through this game. Bye. Let's see what happens. So, do you want to give you a tip?
Yeah, I think... This is the stupid part of being an Essendon supporter.
I tip Essendon by 100 points.
I am so pessimistic a lot of the time, but I'll sit here and think, we can win this. I genuinely think we can win this. And I haven't been this nervous about a game since Anzac Day. And we drew.
Well, it's very similar.
I'll say Carlton by a point. It will break my heart if that happens.
Draw. Go for a. I'll pick
I was going to, and then I thought I'll go the 1 point.
No, look, I'll go Essendon by 12.
Oh, back to it. Good.
Back to the 12. Comfortable.
You changed and then won by 12.
Back to 2-goal victory. I really think that. I really think Setterfield's a massive in.
Structurally,
massive.
It's not even the ability of the player. It's just structural. Yeah.
Structural. I would have loved to have seen Bryant stay in the team just for the extra tall, but I get it because maybe they don't. Well, partly they've got tall forwards, but they don't have overly. Well, they've got a couple of tall defenders. But anyway, we'll see how that goes. I would have.
Kerno's only 193. Like Kerno's that Langford height.
Yeah,
he's the only real
plays
super
so tall because he marks the ball like takes pack marks. That's the thing. Whereas Laverde, who's going to be playing on him, he won't be able to do anything about those pack marks. He can deal with one-on-one pushing around stuff because he's fairly muscly.
Can I get another tip from you? And that is how many goals will Kerno kick from free kicks?
3, 2. I would have liked to have seen, though, in this game, being that it was I would have loved to have seen who they named early, which was Roberts. I would have liked to have seen that, or even the draft pick. No.
Sard. Outside.
No, the number 1 pick from last year. What's his name? The rookie from last year. Played last week. No, the week before.
For us?
Yes.
Oh, Caddy, my boy.
Caddy, yeah.
He's not a rookie. The rookie's a different
draft pick. I would have liked to have seen him even come in.
Oh, you can't see the numbers. Oh, you can. Yeah,
I would have liked to have seen him come in, to be honest, because I'm a bit.
For who though?
Well, it's a great point. Probably for Sardis, because I think
that's huge. That's a tall bloody forward line.
But we just talked about what advantage do we have over them? We don't.
But that's a disadvantage. As soon as that ball hits the ground, off you go.
But Stringer's meant to be pretty good below his feet, isn't he? Like when the ball hits the ground, Stringer's below his feet. That'd be under the ground. Below his knees, he's pretty good when the ball hits the ground. Langford's very good when the ball hits the ground. Would you not agree?
Could I just talk about Anzac Day though? We had that tall team, and we sat here and went, it probably hurt us having a team that tall because we had the current team with Draper.
Okay, well, we drew with that team.
Yes,
and
but how easily did they get out of the back 50? That's my issue.
I'm just saying, this is what I would have liked to have seen.
It's my own bias. I like a balanced team. I don't like going tall. I don't like going short. I like to have sort of 2 tall forwards, 2 tall defenders with like an extra 190 something.
So I like to do something a bit silly, a little bit risky. I grew up in the Kevin Sheedy era of coaching.
Well, let's see what Kepler Bradley's doing and maybe chuck him in the forward line.
I don't need to find someone who's he's probably my age, Kepler Bradley.
Oh, yeah, maybe. It's been a while.
He'd be close to
I just
38. He'd be in his
remember
late
him-
30s for surely, Kepler Bradley now.
I was a kid, but I remember him being fecking everywhere, that bloke.
He was injured, poor bastard, all the time. Big lanky bugger.
That's what I
All right.
associate with Kevin Sheedy throwing the magnets around.
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
All right, so if we win, who's our best on? Who do you think has to really stand
Merritt.
up? Okay. I will go on the
Well,
train. that
actually, sorry,
Merritt-
I'll take that back. Stringer will kick 5.
Okay, that's your big call. I think Merritt's been better in our losses, generally. So I think if we win, it won't be him. I will say a Sam Durham masterclass on Cripps and or Walsh. Just both
Oh,
of them,
yeah.
holding one off each.
I don't mind that. That'll be someone shutting down Walsh could have an influence on the game. That's a valid point.
Who do you pick? Who's more influential to Carlton? Do you try
Oh,
to-
Walsh,
Okay.
definitely. I think
Not Cripps, who's like second favourite for the Brownlow.
well, Walsh I think can be more. Cripps he'll like
Spiritual leader.
yeah, he's a spiritual leader. Like
leader.
he won't have I don't know.
It's
I'm
hard
going to
because
go
they're
Walsh.
both very
Yeah.
good. No, there's no right answer there. I'm just.
I think Walsh before his injuries that he seemed to struggle with, I felt like could have won a Brownlow or should probably still win a Brownlow. If he plays a full year, he's good enough to win a Brownlow, that kid.
Oh, they'll be taking votes off each other. Let's.
He's a very, very good football player.
Yeah. So Durham, if we're winning, Durham does a job on. I'm still going to say Cripps. I think he was able.
I
to
will
do it
say I
against
would have thought
Bontempelli.
Setterfield would be Cripps matchup, whereas
Well, Durham, Bontempelli.
Stars on Walsh would be but we didn't have Setterfield in that game.
Yeah, but did the job
Yeah,
very,
but
very well.
I think they're different players.
All right, it's fine.
Yep.
Our-
You give your opinion.
our
You shoot down mine.
opinions,
I'm
they're
shooting
just-
down your opinion, you mother.
They're just opinions.
All right, let's wrap
Which
this.
remember, if you're commenting, they're just opinions. We had a fight this week in the comments. It's good fun.
Did we?
Not me and you.
Oh, right, yeah. Yeah,
The-
true.
the-
Oh,
the
opinions,
listener.
yes, I
The
get you now,
listener.
sorry.
Yeah.
I was a bit slow on that one.
It's all good. I'm not giving it airtime.
Yeah.
That will do us. Thanks for tuning in. Big game.
And we kept it fairly short.
We did. It was about half an hour. I don't know because we had to stop because my internet just shit itself. So I can't do that quicker maths. But yeah,
We did all right anyway. We kept it under an hour and a half.
we did all right. It'll be a Monday night pod for the review. Tune in then and go Dons.
Go Bombers!